He has the power to wipe out the entire human race. If we believe there's even a 1% chance that he is our enemy, we have to take it as an absolute certainty.
The greatest gladiator match in the history of the world. God versus man. Day versus night.
You're psychotic.
That is a 3-syllable word for any thought too big for little minds.
I've known a few women like you.
Oh, I don't think you've ever known a woman like me.
Hi, I'm Winston.
And I'm Brian, and we're here at the Warner Brothers lot to interview the cast of Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice.
To answer the age-old question, who would actually win in a fight, Batman or Superman?
Superman. First question, gotta ask you, not many people are lucky enough to ever play one superhero, let alone two. So after doing one in the past, how did it come about being able to be Batman? Did you ever think that you'd be able to do another superhero?
No, I never thought I'd get the chance to do another one. I wasn't happy with how the first movie turned out, and so I really regretted it. You know, I regretted it just because it was a really good character. It is a good character. It deserves better treatment, and you know. But I figured, well, that was my crack at this, and I'll, you know, that'll just be that. And then this came along, and it felt like a last chance to actually do a movie in this genre and do it really well. You know, I read the screenplay, and it was written by Chris Terrio, who wrote Argo, and it was so smart and rich and full and real and compelling, and it was like nothing I'd seen before, and I knew that Zach could, you know, shoot it in a way that was visually, you know, evocative and compelling, and so I was dying to jump on board.
Great. Now, there's been some great Batmans, but this movie definitely went epic. It was amazing to watch, amazing to listen to and see. And your Batman has its own spin, went far darker than Batman seems to have been before. How did you embrace that character, embrace the darkness of The Dark Knight Returns, the Frank Miller graphic novel? How did you bring that into your character?
Well, like you said, it was inspired by the graphic novel and by Dark Knight Returns, and it's you know, this is a guy who is like at the end of his rope a little bit and is feeding on and is operating on anger, and that's a big part of how he now kind of sees the world. And so he's got to see it through a little bit of a distorted lens to be able to see Superman as, you know, really as primarily as a threat when the Superman, this super character, shows up in his life. And I just, you know, I just sort of followed the guide laid out for me by this screenplay, which made really good emotional sense for the character, and Zach was, you know, very concrete and good about, like, you know, he hand draws every frame of the movie, and so he knows exactly, you can see exactly sort of where you are in the movie and calibrate your performance to it, so it was really helpful.
Stay down! If I wanted it, you'd be dead already.
So, thank you so much for giving me a moment of your time. I know you're a very busy man.
Thank you very much.
Saving the world and whatnot, you know.
I see it's laundry day.
I see what you did there. All right. You know, I'll tell you right now, man, I'll be 100% honest. Superman, of all the superheroes, is not normally my favorite. And the reason why is because I always feel like Superman has everything. He's a good-looking dude. He's got all the powers. He can fight anybody. But what I love about these two films, Man of Steel and Batman vs. Superman, is instead of worrying about what Superman can do, they worry about what Superman should do. That's the focus on what should he morally do. So what was that like for you to really attack it from a different angle? Instead of like, how hard can I punch things, you know, kind of, how do I solve these problems?
Yeah, the interesting thing which we're exploring in this movie, which hasn't really been shown before, is the development of Superman. There is the Superman in the comic books who we know and love, or don't love in your case. And he is the paragon of hope and justice and rightness. And in this, we see him growing into that. He's learning his lessons. He is... The most wonderful thing about Superman is that despite the fact he's an invulnerable alien with all these powers, he is the most human out of all the superheroes.
He really is.
He is the most vulnerable in a psychological, human way. And what makes him special when we see his fully developed self is that he is risen above his own ego. And right now, he's still battling with that ego inside him, which is both positive and negative.
Right.
It's not like a sense of, I think I'm the best. It's a sense of, I'm feeling let down by myself. I wish I could do this. This hurts me because I should be able to do that, but I can't. Right. And it's damaging to him. And we see him just being the juvenile superhero going through growing pains.
Excuse me, miss. The other night you took something that doesn't belong to you. Stealing's not polite.
Is it stealing if you steal from another thief?
Who are you?
Someone interested in the same man you are.
Is that right?
The data you copied is military-grade encryption.
You know, I bet with that dress, 9 out of 10 men would let you get away with anything.
But you're the 10.
I'm guessing I'm the first. I see through that babe in the woods act. You don't know me, but I've known a few women like you.
Oh, I don't think you've ever known a woman like me.
How are you?
I'm very well. How are you?
Good. Who are you with?
Black Tree TV.
No. I mean
Oh.
Batman or Superman.
Yeah, personally, I'm a Batman guy. What about yourself?
I can't say.
Oh, you
It's
can't
like,
say.
I can't choose. I choose them both.
Torn between the two?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
It's hard
terrible.
to choose.
Do you find that you'll keep that way going towards Justice League, and once you have all the combatants together, will you be able to pick one? Do you have a favorite superhero?
Growing up, I wasn't so big in comics and stuff like that. I was a very active girl. I used to do sports, be around. I didn't spend too much time watching TV or movies. But we'll have to see. We're going to start shooting Justice League very soon.
Yeah.
So we'll see how it goes.
Fantastic. Now, I understand you were in the army, the Israeli army.
Right.
And I gotta ask, like, that is not only not a trait you often hear in Hollywood, but especially among the female actors out there. In what way does that influence you being such a kick-ass action star? I mean, not many people can say that.
I was a combat trainer, which was very physical.
Of course.
When I was training for BVS for 9 months before we even started shooting, it reminded me the intense of the trainings. Really reminded me my time back in the IDF boot camp. But that's it. For me, I wish no country would need to have an army.
Sure.
You know, but in Israel, it's not the case, obviously, and I'm happy to give back to the country.
All right, so Mr. Fishburne, I gotta be honest with you. You've been like a film dad for me forever.
Oh,
Like
thank you, son.
You've got Boys in the Hood.
Furious Styles.
You got Blackish, which I love
Pop.
that show so much.
Yeah.
The Matrix, even Morpheus kind of has
Morpheus.
like that wise uncle
Yeah,
feel.
he's mentor, Dark Father.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
right. So,
Yeah.
what do you think? How does it feel to be, I guess, the consummate role model for Black youth watching films?
If that is in fact what I am to some people, I am grateful and I am hopeful that I have, fulfilled that role in a way that has been useful to young people.
Wonderful. And it's one of those things that I look at like you and Denzel and Morgan Freeman, how you guys are constantly working, which is so amazing. Do you find now, as you've done everything at this point, are you more selective of the roles that you choose, or do you just work constantly, or what do you feel?
I've always tried to be selective in terms of, I always tried to make the best possible choice.
Right.
And this particular, role in Perry White was really like a wonderful, like it's better than a box of Cracker Jacks, you know what I mean?
Right.
It was like, because you're going to get a surprise.
Right.
But I didn't know what the surprise was.
Right.
Oh, I get to be who? I get to be the editor-in-chief?
Right.
I get to do what? I get to boss Superman around? You, shut up. Do what I tell you.
Which I have a question.
The best.
That's not bad, right? Come on! I have a question. How is it that Perry doesn't just realize that every time Clark takes his glasses off, he's Superman?
Here's the thing.
Okay.
Here's the thing. Lois Lane is Perry White's star reporter. She
Okay.
is his favorite child.
Okay.
And she is his problem child.
Okay.
He chooses to overlook the fact that she's the problem child because he loves her so much.
Right.
And she's
Right.
got him wrapped around her finger.
Right.
So even when he just ready to pull his hair out, he gonna let her do what she wants
Whatever
to
she
do.
wants to do.
Clark is his misfit child.
Okay.
He's the child that you look at and you wonder, where did you come from? How did I get you? And you're so frustrated that you don't look at him long enough to recognize who he really is.
Right.
You just, get out my face.
That's fair. I can kind of see that.
you
that was
see?
like me and my
You see?
sister. I got away with everything, and she got away with nothing.
She got away with nothing.
Nothing at all.
Right.
You know, I totally get that.
You understand?
And now you will fly to him, and you will battle him to the death. Black and blue, fight night. The greatest gladiator match in the history of the world. God versus man. Day versus night. Son of Krypton versus Bat of Gotham.
TV. First of all, congratulations. Absolutely amazing film to watch.
Thanks a lot.
Visuals, the sound is just so exciting. An
wonderful.
assault on the senses.
Yes, yes.
What I wanted to ask you is, as a human character, not
Yeah.
one of the supers, but still, you brought this beyond human aspect to the role in not only with the intellect, with your dialogue.
Yeah.
How did you create Lex? How did you create that character?
Well, I'm really the second person to create. The first is this writer, Chris Terrio. He wrote this incredible script, and he was able to create a character that was both eccentric and charming and funny and also terrifying. And he did such a good job that as an actor, it was kind of an easy place to step into. And then there are all these other wonderful elements to the character. You know, I have an interesting wig and interesting outfits, and all this stuff adds to what is kind of an eccentric guy who becomes increasingly, over the course of the movie, pretty terrifying.
Absolutely. Well, and another thing that I heard, that you work a lot with improvisation while you're working, and each take is different. Holly Hunter was saying how amazing it was to work with you in that regard. How does using different takes and doing it different ways every time really round out your performance?
My feeling always is like, as an actor, like the first time you do anything is probably going to be the best, because I think it's fraught with all of the freshness and emotion of trying something for the first time. But of course, a movie, you have to do it many, many takes. And so for me, it feels like if you try something a little different each time, then it'll always have the freshness, and then each take will be good on its own, even if it's not like a perfected version of something.
Absolutely. Now, supervillains have become immensely popular to play, what with the rise of Dark Knight and Heath Ledger's portrayal in Bane and beyond. Were you tempted at all to go with that dark kind of innate madness in your character? Were you inspired by other roles that you've seen recently?
Yeah, but probably even more inspired by, you know, people that I've known who are similar to this, people who are, you know, can be charming but ultimately manipulative, people who can actually be destructive and narcissistic. I'm more interested in, like, you know, people you know, and thinking about them and thinking about what drives them, because a real person's always going to just be that much more fascinating and full of life and rich in detail than a movie character. And so when I'm bringing myself to it, I try to kind of transport those feelings I see in others into myself.
Sorry. No match. My guys in the crime lab, never seen one before.
It's called a bullet. You shoot people with them.
Recovered from the scene of the firefight in the desert. Not sold anywhere commercially in the world, even black market.
So?
So who gave prototype military rounds to Tuareg fighters in the Sahara?
The ask, Lois.
Flight to DC tonight, couple of days there.
Go.
Coach, no extra legroom.
Economy plus.
Coach!
All right, so Miss Adams, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. You can do everything. I've seen you in comedy, sci-fi, musical, fairy tale, you know, and now superhero. What would you say is your favorite genre to play and why?
I don't have a favorite genre. I think that's why I like skipping around. I think for me, it's all about the relationships between the characters, and so as long as you're investing, like it all feels real. And so that's why I think I keep skipping around. Maybe I'm.
No, that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the beauty of Lois Lane, of all the women in this movie, actually, that they're all very completely independent individuals and very strong characters. Lois is finding the truth, you know, with the journalism, but she's over there doing stunts herself. Like she's you know diving in and all that kind of stuff.
She's getting in there. Yeah, she's yeah.
Did you find that she was difficult to play at all, or was it very natural? Did you have any like influences with her? Or?
No, you know, coming from Man of Steel, it was nice to have already established her. That was the really tricky part for me, just because I know that there's so many fans out there, and you want to do a good job. You want to, you know, represent the character in a way that they can invest in. So coming into this, I feel like, okay, I'm Lois Lane now, so let's just do it. So I felt a lot more grounded, and I felt like in my life I'm more grounded. So it was actually a lot more fun, and I felt like I had a lot in common with her now, and yeah, so it was fun, and I got to kind of bring my relationship with Henry that we built onto the screen, and. Yeah.
One of the coolest things about Lois, I know that there's a really cool Superman story, All-Star Superman. I don't know if you know that one, where Superman makes a formula that gives her the Kryptonian
and
powers.
she gets powers. Yes, yes.
Would you ever suit up? Would you do it?
Yes, absolutely. That would be so much fun.
Which power would you want the most?
Oh, I don't know. Anything. Maybe the one. I think it's really cool when his eyes light up. It would be really dangerous for me to have it because I have a really bad temper. But I think it's so cool.
Did you use that at what, like LA traffic? Just laser beams?
I wouldn't want to hurt anybody. Maybe I'd just take out tires.
Just pop tires.
Just
that's
pop
fine.
tires. Just pop tires.
Or like fly your car to work.
Something like that. That'd be good. It'd be nice to to do that. Yeah.
Well, that's a wrap here at Warner Brothers.
So be sure to check out Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice, March 25th at a theater near you.